That's right! Welcome to the side of the ring because it's time for Ringside. Got a bunch of news lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we're just gonna whack per Fightful. Kazuchika Okada has agreed to a deal with AEW and he's expected to debut after fulfilling all commitments to New Japan. There were talks with WWE, but AEW appears to be where he's landing. So, hearing about the commitments that he has to fulfill makes me believe that he may not debut at the same time as Mercedes Moné. So, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm assuming, because I thought about this, I was like, the commitments could just so happen to align with, when big business actually, ends up happening. And it could be a twofer, you know what I mean? Because that is... That's what happened, I think it was at the other Grand Slam, actually, where it was Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. They debuted, but they both debuted, literally one after another, so maybe that's what might happen. I don't know why I've got it in my head that Mercedes is going to debut in, the beginning, and then Kazuchika is going to debut at the end. They could do, back-to-back, That's even if it does actually end up happening. I think what's going to happen is I think they've got big business all planned out for Mercedes, and then Kazuchika is probably going to come down the line a little bit later. I don't know. I see big business from Mercedes Moné, and then they save Okada for Revolution. I don't know. That's just my way of thinking right now. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what actually ends up happening. Next, PW Insider notes that Jade Cargill has impressed WWE with her work in a Super Bowl commercial, and she's even more highly thought of now. She's expected to land on the SmackDown roster in the lead up to WrestleMania 40. Speaking of Cargill, the Daily Update says she's currently slated to be in the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Okay, so she had a couple appearances here and there. She appeared on NXT, she appeared on SmackDown, right? Then we didn't really hear anything from her. She kind of went cold. Not cold, but she went off to train more, right? Then she came back in the Royal Rumble. Great, she's in the Royal Rumble. Then a report came out where she isn't really remembering a whole lot. And Alvarez was like, I think it would be better for her if she went on the road and learned a couple things. Now she's going on SmackDown and she's going to be in the Elimination Chamber. I don't want to make it sound like I don't have any confidence in her. I'm going off of what I'm being told and what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is not enough Jade Cargill. But now she's immediately getting into the Elimination Chamber. So what I'm taking from this is that she remembers everything. That's the takeaway that I'm getting from this as well. Well, I'm assuming her memory's good now. I don't think that her in-ring ability was what was holding her back. I believe that it was the memory thing, which, please, by all means, I'm not slating her for that. Okay, my argument was, who among us, right? So this is making me believe that, the pay-per-view, her overall in-ring ability has improved since then, right? From where it already was. And now, listen, she did great. The Frog Splash looked amazing. Shouts out to Aubrey Plaza. I highly doubt a 2-second frog splash where Aubrey wasn't even she did that in a blue room, a green room, right? She probably had mocap on. I highly doubt a frog splash was enough for them to be like, oh my god, put her in the Elimination Chamber. I highly doubt that. I assume, that's why I said I assume her in-ring ability is perfectly fine, and that's not what we're yelling about here. So either way, this is good. I'm glad to hear this. It's just her hopscotch-esque short journey so far has just been very perplexing. We'll say perplexing, So, with all that being said, I'm excited, okay? I don't want the takeaway to be that I'm worried about her safety or anything. I'm excited, right? And I'm looking for... Now, there's plans involved, right? I'm assuming the Elimination Chamber is... Unless the Elimination Chamber would not be a number one contender. That doesn't make any sense. So, with that being, I'm trying to say, she's not going to win. She's going to have a great showing, which is obviously what you want. So, with all that being said, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. And when you see her in the qualifying match, you know exactly what's going to happen. Moving back to AEW, the Wrestling Observer newsletter says they have been told morale within AEW has, quote, really picked up and is the best in some time. This probably has to do with Mercedes Moné and Kazuchika Okada showing up. I think everybody's just excited for the future of what AEW holds just for the divisions overall, right? And I think with the different people the different people in place, right? You know what I mean? Like, you've got, I still don't know. I really should look her up. Homegirl who's in charge of, like, the ticket sales for the events and stuff like that. I think because you've got different people in the driver's seat, and they did, listen, as upset that I got about the report about how they're going to change the women's division around and all that sort of stuff, and Mercedes-Benz is going to be a staple, as upset that I got, objectively, if you pull me out of the room, they are going to emphasize women's wrestling, and Mercedes Moné is going to be at, like, the forefront. So that's something that you can actually get excited about. Please, by all means, do not take my reaction as anything. That is just purely my overall opinion, okay? Objectively, this is a good thing. This is what you want to hear. It is for the betterment of AEW as a whole, and if the rising tide lifts all boats scenario, if the women's division is better, it's going to make the program better and all that sort of stuff. That's what you want to hear. You're right. Again, Kazuchika Okada is showing up, so that's obviously going to, rise all boats and all that sort of stuff, So, as upset as I sounded, this is a good thing. This is exactly what AEW needs to be doing, and I can't wait for what AEW has in store in the future. Finally, it's a short one today, folks. That means Andrew Zarian believes AEW will run more than one stadium show in the United States this year, counting its usual Grand Slam event in Arthur Ashe Stadium. Now, I looked it up, okay? I was a good boy, and I did my research. And so far, the only other shows that I see coming up, but we're going to say besides Grand Slam, would be Revolution and then All In. And Revolution obviously in March, and then All In's happening in August. Now, in fairness, they haven't announced anything other than big business. They haven't really announced any dates yet for the upcoming pay-per-views. And listen, I'll be totally honest with you. AEW is probably the only promotion. Well, AEW is the only promotion that I watch where I genuinely don't know when all of the pay-per-views are going to happen. In my argument is that there's a lot. Okay, and some of them are in stadiums. Now, okay, I also want to say this as well. Now, the only reason why I'm saying this is because I didn't know, and there's a potential chance that whoever's listening to this or whoever's watching this, maybe you don't know either, so I'm just saying this for educational purposes. There's two different kinds. There's arenas and there's stadiums. Arenas are smaller and stadiums are bigger and can accommodate larger crowds. That's why you have the Greensboro Coliseum, right, which is where Revolution is going to take place, right? It's the Greensboro Coliseum. And then you've got places like Arthur Ashe Stadium, Wembley Stadium, right? MetLife Stadium. Okay, I just wanted to say that because I didn't know that. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, aren't they all in stadiums? No, they're not. Okay, so just for purely educational purposes. Now, again, I don't know what the upcoming pay-per-views are, and I mean, considering the fact that Grand Slam was in arenas and now they're putting it in stadiums, there's a potential chance that maybe Beach Break could be in a stadium. Battle of the Belts, maybe they'll finally put Battle of the Belts in a stadium. You know what I mean? So, like, there's a lot of different shows that they could potentially throw into a stadium, right? Other than just All In, other than just Grand Slam. So there's not really much else to say because I can't see into the future. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what stadium they end up choosing, or what pay-per-view they end up choosing to put in a stadium, I should say. What do we talk about? Alright, Kazuchika Okada agreed to a deal with AEW, debuting after fulfilling all commitments to New Japan. So, like I said, there's a potential chance that could just perfectly line up exactly with Big Business on March 13th, or he could show up at Revolution. My money's on Revolution. I could be wrong now. Alright, so, insider notes that Jade Cargill has impressed WWE with her work in a Super Bowl commercial, even though she didn't really do a whole lot. I'm just going to be totally honest with you, okay? But she's expected to land on the SmackDown roster in the lead up to Mania 40, and she's currently slated to be slated, not in, just slated. And if you're slating her, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why you wouldn't put her in. I'd put her in, so it would be kind of weird not to put her in. Let's see. Newsletter says they have been told morale has picked up and is the best in some time. That's good to hear. That's what I want. AEW's moving in an upward direction. It doesn't even matter how far up it needs to be. It's in an upward direction, and that's what you want to hear. And then Andrew Zarian believes AEW will run more than one stadium show in the U.S. this year, other than Arthur Ashe. So I was like, I don't know, Ryan. Revolution is happening in a Coliseum, which I'm going to assume is an arena. I tried looking it up, and it didn't didn't say anything about stadium, so that's happening in an arena. And then the only other one that I saw was All In, and that's happening at Wembley Stadium. So, like I said, beach break, man, winter is coming, right? Even though I think that already happened. No, that's a Revolution. The point is, okay, they've got a lot of pay-per-views, and they could throw whichever arena pay-per-view they want into a stadium, so we'll have to wait and see what it is. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, big hugs all around.